Africa, and welcome to the nominee announcement for the Future Awards Africa 2015 edition, where tonight we are going to celebrate the absolute brightest and boldest in young Africans, all the way from Nigeria to Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, and even my home country, Zimbabwe. I'm your host, Miss Vimbai, and tonight is going to be absolutely epic. The Future Awards Africa were created to celebrate as well as accelerate innovation, creativity, and enterprise in young Africans aged from 18 to 31. Now, since they were created, they've had over 1,500 nominees from all around Africa, as well as 150 winners. That is since the inception in 2006. That is 10 years of the Future Awards Africa. So you know this year we're going to go bigger, bolder, and better. Now, this is exactly the reason why Forbes magazine would have said that this is the Nobel Prize for Africans, as well as the most important awards for young Africans, because they impact everybody across borders in the entire continent. The awards fall under the Future Project, which was founded by Chude Gideonmo and Adebola Williams, and this is overseen by a global advisory board, which is drawn from Africa, Europe, North America, as well as the Middle East. So on the 6th of December this year, we're going to celebrate the winners as they are crowned, but tonight is the night that we will reveal 11 categories, 56 nominees from all around Africa who have gained the attention of the board and the attention of the Future Project to be nominated as the future of Africa. I'm your host, Miss Vimbai, and we are excited to celebrate the best that African youth have to offer. Remember to follow the conversation. The hashtag is TFAA2015, and of course, hashtag Africa Needs You. Without further ado, we're going to be connecting with some very powerful and exciting young Africans who are going to help us to reveal the nominees who've made the cut for 2015. Stay tuned. We're going to get right into it, and of course, what better way to begin than to find out where the Future Awards Africa actually began. It all began with a dream between two young men, yourself, Chude Gideonmo, and Adebola Williams. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So let's get into it. Well, I mean, how did you guys think of this amazing dream? What was going on when you were like, let's do the Future Awards?
Well, first, the dream started in Nigeria. Nigeria as what? A case study of the rest of Africa, because we all have commonalities. And 10 years ago, it was a pretty dreary place. Democracy had just, 15 years ago, around 10 years ago, we started the Future Awards. Democracy had just returned to Nigeria. The creative industries were just beginning to flourish. People were just beginning to set up businesses. So a lot of young people were not exactly proud of their country. Also, the narratives of young people in the popular media were uniformly negative. Young people were being referred to as stout, irate youths, you know.
Wow.
The news we were hearing was that they were snatching ballot boxes, examination malpractice, you know, inter-ethnic violence, if Madakeke, all of those things. But then the young people that we were seeing in our day-to-day work were completely different. They were forming businesses, they were establishing NGOs, they were doing creative work, and so we thought somebody needs to tell a better story that can inspire other young people to replicate these successes. And we thought, what's the best way of telling these kinds of impactful stories that will both change the narrative for young people as well as inspire other young people to replicate these successes. That's how we came about the Future Awards.
Did you envision where it is right now? Did you ever think, you know, at first inception that it was going to be this major?
Not really. I mean, not really. No. I mean, I'm not sure. Debola has a better history. I'm not even sure that from the beginning we thought it was going to go African. But then as we began to do our town hall meetings, I remember we first did town hall meetings, we went to Ghana, we went to Accra, we went to Joburg, you know, went to the UK, went to London. And we began to slowly, then after, because of the Future Awards, the Africa Union invited us to consult on youth, you know, on the youth charter and all of that. I began to see that there were commonalities between the experiences we're having in Nigeria and the experiences we're seeing, not just of Nigerians in other countries, but of other nationalities. And so we could never have imagined that it would take us as far as it has. But I guess that's the thing about ideas, you know, if they catch fire, then they really burn down the whole building.
Exactly, exactly. Now, how much deeper are you guys going to get involved in the continent? Because, I mean, there's a lot of activities that take place. Of course, this is the base. Lagos is the base for it. What other activities can we expect, for the rest of the continent?
Over next year, we are doing a 100-city tour.
Oh, 100 cities! You guys dream big. I love this. I love this. What are some of the cities on there?
We've been to Banjul in the Gambia. We've been across Nigeria because this is phase 1. Adebola is going to be in Joburg, I think this week. And so, but that's the phase 1.
You guys better pop into Harare. Zimbabweans are watching,
we're certainly
and they want you to pop in.
We're going to be in Zimbabwe in the second quarter of next year.
Fantastic, I love it.
Because we're doing Southern Africa by the second quarter.
Okay.
So we're going to West Africa in the first quarter, Southern Africa in the second quarter, Southern Africa and Eastern Africa in the second quarter of next year. So what we want to do basically is the Future Awards has had winners across over 12 countries.
Yes.
And so what we want to do is to build hubs of past winners, past nominees, partners, board of trustee members, the entire global brain trust in each of these communities to solve the problems that exist in those communities. And so for instance, what we've been doing, instead of forming new NGOs to solve those problems, we are looking for NGOs already existing in those communities. And then what we're doing is that we are centrally now pulling the resources to ensure that they have a heightened capacity to solve whatever problems apply in that community. So that beyond the awards, beyond celebrating people who have inspired, we want to help directly create more inspiring stories across Africa. So that's the mission.
Now, on that note, I know we want to get into the nominations, but before we do that, how do people around Africa, young people, how do they prepare themselves and mobilize themselves as they await your arrival? How can they get ready and make sure that, when it all goes down, when it all starts to spread, they can be part of the movement?
Yeah, absolutely.
What can they start doing?
At the awards this year, we'll be launching a new portal called howcanigetinvolved.com.
Oh, I love it.
So what happens is, while we're doing the tours, previous tours, and while I was doing my book tour last year for my book, Are We the Turning Point Generation? I met a lot of communities of young people across the world, in Paris, London, in New York, and etc. And they kept asking me, well, so how can I get involved?
Like literally,
exactly. That's the question.
That's what everybody wants to know. Yes.
And so we thought, okay, part of the benefit of our work is that we are not streamlined. We're interested in building empowered citizens. So we're not streamlined to a particular sexuality, health, and all of that. We're like, how do you build empowered citizens to solve problems? And so we thought, with our massive brain trust, we are best positioned to actually help people get involved.
Yes.
And so what we are doing is that once we launch that portal, people will be able to donate directly.
Nice.
But more importantly, people will be able to volunteer, visit those communities. But instead of just showing up, connect. Instead of just showing up, they already know what exists in those communities, what help is needed, and how exactly they should get involved.
Fantastic. Well, I absolutely love that. But we need to get into the nominees reveal.
I'm
and these are people who are probably going to be leaders of some of the movements and the changes you guys are going to be affecting. So it's time for us to reveal the nominees. I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm pretty sure everybody's dying to know who the lucky people are.
Right. So I'm unveiling 2 categories. The first one is the Future Awards Africa Prize in Public Service. And the nominees are the next category is a Nigeria-centered category in partnership with the Ford Foundation's office in West Africa. It's the Ford Foundation Prize in Youth Employment. And the nominees are